Scones, British scones, UK scones. Okay, there's lots of things you've not to do with them. Okay? Don't go for a recipe that has too much baking powder in it. These are generally made with self-raising flour, as well as having baking powder in it as well, because they do need a good rise to them. However, some recipes have way too much. Now, when I've made them using plain or all-purpose flour, I haven't used the same ratio of baking powder added to it that is suggested on Google for example, per cup flour. Because I found that adding too much and adding more baking powder that's in the recipe, in addition to that, it gives them too much of a rise. They rise too fast, they've got nothing to hold them up, and then they sink back down. But also as well, they give a metallic taste, this metallic bitter aftertaste that you can get in your mouth, and it's not nice, it's not pleasant. So use a little bit less, a little bit goes a long way. But also there's things not to do so that you can get that classic rise and split of this type of scone. So what do we not do? Well, at the beginning we do not use a food processor to mix it. Mix it by hand, much gentler. Your hands can do the job just as well. When you come to forming it, just let it come together, form into a ball. Don't knead it, doesn't need kneading. There, I've said it, doesn't need kneading. Also, don't use a rolling pin to roll it out. Put it between two pieces of baking paper, so you don't even need to get messy, and flatten it out with the palm of your hands, and flatten it out to about 1 inch to 2.5 centimetres. And coincidentally, this is about the size of the cookie cutters, the double-sided ones, the ones that have got the straight edge and the other side the fluted edge. That's usually about 1 inch, so it's a good thing to go by. If you have them too shallow to start with, they won't turn out into the size that you're looking for. Flatten it all out, make sure it's all even, so flatten from the middle and, you know, spreading out the way, just like if you were rolling. Then when you come to do the cutters, put the cutter down, do not twist it. I know there's an urge to do that, but don't. Cut her down. When you lift the cutter up, if the scone comes away with it, then transfer that to your prepared baking tray, baking sheet. If it doesn't come up with it, don't worry, leave it there. You'll pick it up at the end very carefully, because if you go and try and pick it up when there's all the dough still there, you will be handling the dough, and the way it's being cut, when you start messing about with the sides of it, it stops that structure that we're looking for. So no twisting. Cut them all out, and any that are left, if they've not transferred to the baking sheet, pick up all your scrap bits of dough. Then the scones that are left, get a palette knife, fish slice, whatever, it's big enough, get under it, put them on the baking tray, get your dough together as little touching or playing with it as possible, flatten it out. These are the ones that are likely to be the odd looking ones, the ones that had been rolled or flattened out a few times. Get all of them cut out. On the baking tray, you will brush on the top with an egg wash. You'll have egg wash that's left over, it's actually some egg and milk, that's part of the recipe that I use. And the trick to egg washing them is that you don't want any of the egg wash dripping down the sides. When it drips down the sides, it interferes with that structure when it's trying to rise up the way, and that's what can make them not rise as much as you'd hoped for. So you don't let it dribble down, and the best way, the easiest way to do that is with your small brush that you're going to use. Start from the middle of the scone with a little bit of the egg wash, and then brush your way outwards. Then less is likely to dribble down the side, because you want them all to be uniform, like, or consistent. And then bake them off in the oven. And that's about it for the don'ts. really. Oh, another one, if you want to put in things like fruit, dried fruit or chocolate chips and things like that, the more weight you give to that scone dough, the less likely it is to give the correct rise that you're looking for. So I did do an experiment and added chocolate chips to a batter one time, and I worked out the most weight that you can add or you will not get the rise you're looking for. So that's also in my recipe. It says don't put any more than, I think it might have been 20 grams or so of chocolate chips. The weight will just bring it down. You know, the classic rise of the scones, which makes them very different to American scones, they rise up the way, and then certain sections around the sides they have a split, so it's like a rise in the split. That is what's characteristic to it. You do not get that in American scones.